Newzroom Afrika's politics editor Lukhanyo Calata attended that briefing earlier in the day. He joins me now. Lukhanyo, of course, it's almost coming down to the wire for the ANC. Let's talk about what else they had to say about the level of preparations that have been made ahead of that conference that's now, what, 5 weeks away?
About 5 to 6 weeks away, Kathy. One of the things that the Treasurer-General, Acting Secretary-General told us was that the issue of the branches, obviously, they are at about 85% that are done. And those branches, it means that they've met the 70% threshold. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they are confident that everything is going to go, the conference is going to happen. Now, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to obviously take place just to get the venues ready. But that will be confirmed in a couple of weeks' time, just to make sure that everything is in place in that regard. But then there's also the NEC that's coming up this weekend, where they will finalize the SG's report, the President's organizational report, as well as the report by the Treasurer-General on obviously the state of finances of the ANC. So those will be done within this weekend, and then it will be, I suppose, plain sailing from there.
I wanted to talk more about the NEC in a moment, but let's look at the Free State province. What have they said about what then the standing of that province is going to be at this elective conference?
Well, you know, Mr. Mashatile didn't really elaborate much specifically on the Free State, but they are, instead of sending a delegation, obviously, or a PEC, the province will largely then be represented by branches instead of it coming as a collective, because there isn't a leadership of the ANC in the Free State as we speak. They haven't gone to conference.
But even the issue of branches was up in the air in terms of the credentials of those branches. So, I mean, they must be thinking seriously about this, because it's going to become more and more important as we get closer to conference.
So, according to Mr. Mashatile, they've sent a team down to the Free State to go and investigate some of the allegations of fraud that have surfaced coming from branch level in the Free State. I'm not sure if you have seen, but there's been a video that's been circulating on social media where, people are sitting in their cars. It seemed to be using a scanner to kind of confirm that some branch delegates are actually in this meeting when they were actually not. So Mr. Mashatile told us that they've sent a team down to go and investigate, but ultimately I'm not sure if they can do anything beyond that investigation for now, up until there is a report, and then obviously they will act based on that. But yes, it is problematic. I think at last count there was about 44% of branches in the Free State that had actually set and nominated and did what they were supposed to.
Incredibly concerning for the ANC, of course. The NEC, the first one that will be held in person. Are we expecting a lot of daggers to be pulled out of this NEC?
Look, I think this NEC, Kathy, is going to largely deal with the preparations for conference, and the report, as we mentioned, the President's report, the organizational report by the Secretary-General, as well as the one by the Treasurer-General. So I think they'll try to finalize those issues. But critically, there's an expectation. Mr. Mashatile did not confirm it, but there's an expectation, Kathy, that the Integrity Commission will table its report on its meetings with President Cyril Ramaphosa on the Phala Phala scandal. We know that Mr. Ramaphosa has met with the Integrity Commission on at least 2 occasions, and we're expecting that report will be tabled this weekend. And obviously, Phala Phala is quite an interesting saga within the ANC. And something quite curious that Mr. Mashatile said was that the Integrity Commission has the right to be able to instruct any member of the African National Congress to step aside if it deems it necessary to do so. So we're not sure if that's going to happen in this case, but he said it.
I think we just need to go back to previous recommendations where there has been that suggestion for people to step aside and what has subsequently happened.